SilverRail Technologies.
Good morning. I don't know how aware you are of the changes that have been going on in the rail industry, but as a longtime online travel veteran, I've spent 12-odd years in the online space and in the venture capital space. I've seen a lot of industries go through massive amounts of change. I've never seen an industry go through as much change as is going on in rail today. Rail is a $300 billion market around the world, and it is the single fastest growing major sector in the travel space. The catalyst for the change is the dramatic change in investment in high-speed rail. And if any of you have ever taken a truly high-speed rail train in Europe in the last handful of years, it's just an extraordinary experience. And this is leading to massive amounts of investment by governments around the world. Around $200 billion was spent last year alone. The problem is that you've got consumers coming in wanting to get on these products. You've got governments investing in the products, but there's almost no way to buy the product. So when was the last time any of us went onto our favorite travel site, whether that was Expedia or Kayak, and was actually able to buy a train ticket? And that just seems crazy to me that we can't do that we can't solve that simple problem. But the underlying issue is that there really is no rail aggregator. You will hear a lot of people raise their hand and say, oh, we have rail, we have rail. I say the litmus test is, can you buy it on your favorite travel site? And I think the answer up until now is no. But we at SilverRail have invented a very, very sophisticated middleware platform that aggregates rail from around the world and is able to put rail up into any major distributor, in any major channel, in any country, and in any currency. And we think this helps solve the problem. And we think that 10 years from now, travel by train is going to be the main way that we move around the world. And if you look at this photograph here, I took this photograph 2 weeks ago. This is a German ICE train. Now, that's not remarkable in and of itself, but what is remarkable is that train was parked in downtown London. That train had gone in 3.5 hours from Frankfurt, Germany to downtown London, traveling speeds of 250 miles an hour, and it can peak out at 350 miles an hour if these guys really want to step on the gas. And that's just an incredible product. You know, there are actually glassed-in conference rooms where you can actually take your team and you could have 8 people traveling in the train and have your own space for the entire 3.5-hour trip. And if you look around the world, these trains, if it's under 4 hours in travel time roughly, the train will own about 60% of the market share, and that is true of every single high-speed train anywhere in the world. That has happened again and again and again. And moreover, the only mode of transportation that you could possibly take that's more environmentally friendly is your bicycle. So if you look at the world and where the investments are happening, again, as I had said, $300 billion market, $200 billion invested last year alone. That's 2 times the amount that was invested in all of air, everywhere in the world, including runways, tower systems, airplanes. And it's such an extraordinary number, 40,000 miles of high-speed track. Now, I'd love to tell you that the U.S. is going to figure this out. We have we're talking about spending $18 billion on investment in rail. If you compare that to somebody like the Chinese spent $88 billion last year alone. They've made a commitment of $300 billion, and they popped in the world's longest high-speed rail line last year that could get from Beijing to Shanghai in about 4 hours. The place where we're most focused at the moment is on Europe. I find this to be the most fascinating market out there, in large part because in January of this year it deregulated. So it looks like an air market. Trains can now travel all the way from Germany into downtown London, and that's why we're seeing this German ICE train there. But the question is, if you have the German ICE train flying in there and you start to look at market share shift, for distributors, this is the major problem that is coming at you if you're an air distributor. London to Paris 10 years ago was the single most traveled air route in the world. Today, that train has 80% market share. 2 years ago, the busiest air route in the world was Madrid to Barcelona, 4.5-hour train ride. Now it's 2 hours. That train has 70% market share. And this is happening everywhere throughout Europe. And 10 years from now, You're not going to see short-haul planes flying around. But the problem is that those suppliers who want customers on their trains and the distributors who would love to sell it have no way to actually connect to each other in a very efficient and seamless way. And therefore, that's why most people still walk up to the train station to buy their train ticket. 60% of all transactions are still happening at the train station, or they're going onto a supplier's website. And if you've ever banged around on a supplier's website in Europe, it's a pretty rough deal. It's not very easy. It's usually 8 to 12 steps to get all the way through it. The only people who've done a reasonable job at selling rail are the corporates, right? Because they have to. They have customers that need to buy their product. But what they tend to do is they have separate call centers that when you call in, you get transferred over. And there's somebody sitting there on a green screen booking this product. And when we did a test with one of the largest corporate agencies last year, they were able to do 4 rail bookings in an hour, and they could do 20 air bookings in an hour. So think about the cost that it takes for a big corporate to actually sell this product. It's extraordinarily expensive. So where do we come in? Well, first of all, the team that we've built and that's built this product has been in the online travel space for a very long time at some of the absolutely top-tier businesses in the space. Our head of products out of ITA Software. We have a team filled with people from my last business, NLG, Expedia as well. It's a very good team. What our approach was, and I think this is the most interesting aspect to it, is we looked at this from the point of view as a distributor, not from the supplier. Most people look at it from the supplier side, and I think that's the key difference. So we can give the distribution channel an API, a white label, or an agent booking tool, which then opens up all of the major sectors in this $300 billion market. And already in the last 12 months, we've knocked down over a dozen deals with the largest sellers in this space. Everything from the corporate side, 2 of the largest OTAs are launching on our platform soon, technology companies, and even suppliers, which is quite interesting because we have suppliers in foreign countries. Bene is the Belgian supplier who want access to other regional content because they want to give their customers a one-stop shop. And then a couple of weeks ago, we launched our own brand called Cuno, which I'll get to in a second. But here's where I think the rubber meets the road. If you're a seller of the product, your customers want to come in and touch you in 3 ways. Rail only, tabs, rail plus air search, or rail plus hotel packaging. There are a lot of people who say they have rail. If you can't integrate into those 3 places where customers are getting touched, then you don't have a product, and that's what we've developed. So 2 weeks ago, we launched our own consumer direct brand called Cuno. This just sits up on top of our white label site. We actually treat Cuno a bit like a customer. It's a place where we do the best of our testing for our partners. You see on the bottom, there's this sort of schematic running across. It looks like a Gantt chart. That's the rail industry's first timetable tool, so you can visually see what's going on. If you're looking, it looks very much like an airpath, right? It's very similar, very familiar. And it wouldn't matter if you were searching for UK rail, US rail, or German rail in this system. It would all look exactly the same way. And it would be designed to work in every country in any language around the world. So in closing, again, it's a $300 billion market. There's massive amounts of investment that are happening in this space. It's a major challenge for the distributors and the suppliers to actually connect in a seamless way. Our platform enables that to happen. 10 years from now, we expect that you will see every major distribution channel selling rail in a real front and center kind of way, packaging systems, air plus hotel search. And we think that it's just an extraordinary opportunity, and we're here to help everyone tap into this great space. So thank you.
Okay, time for some questions.
All right.
So we've seen with some mobile applications that hotel seems to be very popular for people to buy hotel. It certainly seems logical that rail would be ideal for mobile. Can you talk a little bit about your mobile strategy and how you see that really playing?
Yes, actually, it's a great question. It's incredibly important. There are a couple of good companies that have figured out how to put up basically timetable tools. No one's figured out an effective way to actually create a booking tool. I think the game changer is when you can actually say, geez, I'm running late from my train. Can I cancel this one and jump on the next one? And if anybody's seen it, there's a great Sprint ad that shows this. Or a guy sees a cute girl, and he jumps on the train, and he goes over. And I've looked at that 10 times and said, wait a minute, that's BS. You can't do that today. And we're actually rolling out that functionality in Q1 on our platform, and we are building an app right now.
Now, you were saying the corporate travel market's been a success for you. Do people apply corporate policies against trains and that, or is it just more of a convenience?
We support all of the corporate policies in our system that people dictate. So if that answers your question.
Well, really what I was thinking about is comparison. I mean, does the traveler get to see rail versus air and kind of make a decision based on value?
Absolutely. So if you were to look at some of the corporate self-booking tools, they have the capability to show both side by side, and the traveler would get to make the choice on that. But there are policies in place. Reardon, as an example, does a fantastic job of putting in rule sets around what can get shown to their customers versus not.
So we had a similar presentation a couple of years ago from some founding technology that you're using. Why are you going to succeed this time?
Why are we going to succeed this time? Because we are unbelievably well capitalized and we have a great team.
Fantastic, thanks. Okay, let's